What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom. We put the real in reality or whatever.
Period. Exclamation point, comma, parenthesis, dash, backspace, ampersand.
Yes, bitch. What is the last word?
Ampersand. It's the and sign. That
I don't think you're saying that right. What are you saying?
Yeah, I am saying that right. Ampersand.
I think it's a P.
Not a P. Ampersand. Ampersand.
Well, I honestly don't know why I'm talking. It is a P. It's a P.
Yeah, it's amper.
No, wait, no.
I just Googled it. It's amper.
Oh, it is. It's per. Oh, okay, yeah. That's my girl. Per. Amper.
You think you're smarter than me?
Amper.
Welcome back to Reality Kingdom. I am your host, Lee, and we're joined by a wonderful co-host, Pharaoh. Pharaoh, girl, how did you feel about this week inside of the Big Brother house in 2004, August
2004, August 13th to the August the 19th of 2004 was very, very cute. In a bad way. It was actually very dirty. Actually. It was actually very dirty, nasty. It was a fun week, like, for TV. However, when it came to what the fuck was the girls was doing, mamas?
Once again, we have another week of the feeds being a snooze a little bit, girl. Not much happening in the feeds. It's different than what we're seeing in the episodes, and the episodes make it way more dramatized than what we can read in the feeds. In general, though, really fun week. It was a fun week, I will say, because Adria is cracked. Adria is cracked. I did not know Adria was a cracked queen, because we have a few cracked HOHs throughout history. Adria is definitely an early first, because this woman was off her rocker, and it came out of nowhere. Like, leading up to this week, she was it's like she was aware. She had her head on a swivel. Her and Natalie was, creating this alliance for themselves. And then this week, it all comes tumbling down. All of it.
Lee, some people just don't need HOH. Some people just can't handle it. And she's one of those people. You just can't handle it, baby. It was crazy, y'all. Zuda Man, shout out to the people in the chat, first of all. Zuda Man said this is such a random nomination. It was so randomly executed for sure. And that's the thing is, we got a little more information through the feeds of like why, because the episode, if you're watching the episode, it doesn't even make sense as to why, honestly. Like, the why doesn't even make sense, let alone the what. But with the feeds, we kind of can understand why she might think to do this. But this was crazy.
To me, it was just random. It wasn't like the Will nomination was not random or confusing. That was something that her and Diane and Drew a little bit already spoke about a possibility of doing. But for the most part, they had already agreed that the next target should be a Marvin or a Cowboy or, Jace, who was currently leaving. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's a possibility Will or Karen could be targeted, but also the plan was set to be Cowboy or Marvin. So the fact that she kind of does a little bit of both is like, girl, you have to pick one of the two. And I initially thought, oh, she ruined her entire game by putting up Marvin, because I thought Marvin won the next HOH. Well, now we know Nakomis wins the next HOH. So it still goes back to choose a side. Either you need to go all in on going after Will or Karen so that you can have some protection with Cowboy and Marvin, or go all in on Cowboy and Marvin, and then that way Nakomis wouldn't have got your ass out the goddamn game. It's like they did not. They went both paths and became hated by everyone. Everyone basically turned on them except Cowboy and Drew, and they're not going to stick their neck out for him at all. So it's just wow. Like, they had so much, like, I wouldn't say had so much like social capital. Like, they were doing a good job of creating a structure for themselves, but like it went absolutely nowhere. Like, they should not have won this HOH. Well, Adria should not have won this HOH.
Yeah, child. Let's break it down for the girls, honey. I don't remember.
Break it down. I live.
It sounds like some Zendaya shit. I don't remember.
Oh my god.
Replay. Or maybe Hannah Montana. We doing the bone dance. Studying your answers again and again. Doing the bone dance, you dancing, you learning, and we won't.
Did you learn the bones from that? Oh, no. Eric said Jesse J. That's Jessie J.
Oh, it was. No, it was not.
I feel like that sounds like some Jessie J shit.
I think it was a mixture of Jessie J in my head and the Bone Dance at the same time because they have a point where they're in the house. But maybe it was Jessie J. Jessie J was doing a lot. No, she is so extra. I heard that she's actually
about to bring that up because, like, Jessie J.
I heard that she's a terrible celebrity. Did you hear that?
Is she?
Girl, I heard on Sibling Rivalry Podcast. Sibling Rivalry Podcast said that Jessie J had gay allegations back in 2018 or before then. And she was the gasp. And her people reached out to the Drag Race tour and requested that she performed on the Drag Race tour to beat the allegations. She came, performed, and all of the drag queens said she didn't speak to them not one time. She ignored them the entire time. She didn't even talk to them. She sat in the corner and ignored them. Girl, she hates gays. Allegedly, y'all. Allegedly.
The gays took Bang Bang to the top 5.
The gays love Jessie J. I like Jessie J.
Bang,
so
bang,
this is all alleged.
bang,
You don't know.
bang,
Anybody
bang.
could be lying or saying.
No,
or
that price tag song was my shit. So like everybody got a prize.
Ooh.
I wonder what they sleep at night. When the rule comes first and the things come second. Smile. Everybody look to the left.
Does this make you think of Pitch Perfect?
Yeah, I started doing Pitch Perfect. That's what I was doing. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. You need your money. We need to watch that again.
Wanna make the world dance.
Forget about the prize. Forget about the prize.
Cha-ching is not about the but bling, just wanna make the world dance. Forget about the. I would do the whole song.
Nah, forget about the hey. Don't you go see about me. Y'all go watch Pitch Perfect.
Go watch Pitch Perfect. I said, how the fuck did we get here? I don't know, mind you. Like that was like 5 different conversations, but back to Big Brother Girl.
Wait, give me rewind, bitch.
Looking at the screen, this is what we got. Adria wins the head of household competition. And she decides that she's going to do the impossible, well, the possible, and nominate Marvin and Will. Girl, we'll get into the details because, honey, are there any? She also wins the power of veto. She decides not to use the power of veto after contemplating. And the final nominees of the week were Marvin and Will. And Will is evicted at a tie, the first tie vote of the season.
And Adria wanted it this way.
Adria
and Nelly.
Adria and Nelly. We gotta stop. So yes, because this girl was acting a motherfucking plum fool. Now I do wanna. I'll say it later. Because I didn't want to say it.
You can get it out, baby.
I could not get it out. But as soon as Adria wins HOH, we see on the episodes and on the feeds that Cowboy does speak to Adria. He's the first motherfucking person to pull her to the side.
And girl, no shade to Cowboy. He locked in because this conversation kept him safe this entire week. They were not going to go after Cowboy because of this conversation. He truly leaves this week as their only ally left in the game. Their only real ally, because everyone is throwing them under the goddamn bus. And what was so interesting about Cowboy in this conversation, he actually throws Marvin under the bus. He tells her that Marvin has been talking shit about them, has been wanting to go after them. I don't think we saw this in the episode, but he was very much pushing Marvin as a target this week for the twins. And I'm not saying they bite the bait on that, but it kept him off the block. And it did help them in their decision with going after Marvin. They did cite this as a reason. So it was like, okay, Cowboy. Okay, Michael, I see you.
Okay, Michael. Them 3 votes at the end.
It started making a little bit more sense. Girl, that was Natalie, Adria. That was Natalie, Adria, and
I've always thought 2 of them were Natalie and Adria.
Her brother.
I don't know about that. But maybe.
If it's the twins,
I've always thought it was the twins.
If it's the twins, I'm not gonna give them that high of a score. No shade. Because girl, that's 2 people. That's the same person. They
that is
the same
person. That's just one person.
One vert per womb.
There's one person. He got that allyship though. He did this. He did
ate
the thing.
No, he ate this up.
Got that
he ate this down.
He got them 0.5s, girl. But yes, we also saw
relate on certain biblical topics, because as Adria said, God told her to put up the black man and the gay, because of course they're not welcome in the kingdom of heaven.
And this is why, of course, they're not welcome in the kingdom of heaven. This is why a lot of people hate Adria. You remember you were like, why do people hate Adria? It's this, because I knew the allegations was that she's homophobic / racist, but I never knew why. And after watching this week, it's clear that this is the reason. They're like, this bitch literally saying that she cited it from God and da 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 da. But after, like, if you're reading the feeds, she's lying. She's not. She like I'm sure she believes in God, but that is not. She had so many other reasons why she wanted to nominate Will and Marvin. Like, it was not just the Bible. Like,
listed them out. Like, girl.
Like literally. And I will say, if you've clearly a lot of the opinions of this season or the facts that people have alleged from this season are coming from the episodes, because we saw last week with Marvin, people thinking he's the one who came up with the backdoor plan because of the way it was edited on the screen. This week with Adria, it's like, I'm not saying you got to love Adria, because Adria is still a little kooky, but I don't believe, like, she's not. I don't think she's racist or homophobic.
No,
especially because of this. She had many of reason, and it was not the Bible. No shade. She lied on the Bible. She lied on God's name real bad,
and that's why Holly clocked her tea earlier when she got eliminated. She keep bringing up the Bible and her strategy. That's not a good look. And it's not, because now you're up here lying on God. Marvin kept bringing it up. So God wanted you to put up the gay guy and the black guy. That's what God wanted. That's what he wanted. Will clocked it too, because it's like, you're saying God led you to these nominations as if we're somehow not worthy to being in this house because God said so.
Exactly.
You can't say shit like that.
You can't. The whole time she's not even telling the truth. That's it. You're lying on God, and then this is a horrid lie to tell on God, baby. You're going to hell, actually.
The only person who I believe God gave them a message was Dominique in BB19.
Oh my God.
When she said God told her Paul is a snake, baby, that was an epiphany. I should have went to Tiffany's, okay?
Oh my God.
Paul's tea. God was like, hold on, I have to get this nigga up out of here. God knew.
No, it was bad.
That was the one season he said, let me interfere real quick, and it didn't work. It
kind of did. It takes some time. He didn't win.
It takes some time.
He didn't
win. May not come when you want it, but it's always on time. I know that's right.
Okay. But yes, Diane comes up to Adria also very quickly. And for lack of better words, I'd say influenced heavily. I'd say ran, personally. Because she went to Adria. She said, look, girl, you could either do the cute thing, but I don't think it's giving the cute thing. I think it's giving Target, Will, Nakomis, and Karen. Put one of them up, preferably Will, and get them the fuck out. And the reason this was so iconic is because Diane did all of that and spent the rest of the week talking to Will, Karen, and Nakomis.
And then at first, it was like she was like playing them. She was actively playing the middle. And then while playing the middle, she got actually sympathetic and empathetic towards Will, Karen, and Nakomis, and was like, well, I love them, and the twins are evil, and da-da-da-da. And it's like, Diane, it just gives that Diane will, if you talk to her long enough, she'll believe what you're believing. She will sympathize with you, she will empathize, and she'll just go with it. It's bad. I mean, she got tricked by like Will and Karen before into saying she doesn't trust the twins. And then the next week she was working with the twins. And now once again, she doesn't trust the twins. It's like, pick a side, or don't pick a side. It's actually perfect for you not to pick a side right now.
Yeah.
But I thought this was really good work from Diane in the beginning of the week, because Adria and Natalie were willing to go after Will, but they didn't really have, I feel like, that support until Diane started giving them like, hey, I'm down with this. They can go. Like I said, this rolling. And then the ball started rolling. And she was like, wait, I don't want this. Will needs to stay. Yeah. You was the main one saying Will needs to go.
Girl, she needed to lock in. But very good work at the beginning. I have a question. Mm-hmm. What did you think of this Karen and Adria conversation? We saw it on the episode and we saw it on the feeds, because my initial thought was Adria is handling this horribly. I didn't like the way Adria was handling it. I'm not going to lie, because she was trying to be so coy, and I'm not going to say any names and Girl, you tell me a name. I didn't necessarily love the way Adria handled it, but what did you think?
I mean, you can't really just approach people and demand information and not give any information. Like, it's never going to work like that. Like, people who are smart enough are going to clock that. Karen clocked this. She just said, I'm not going to give you anything. And then she went to Will and was like, girl, we don't need to say any names at all. And it's like, of course, because why would we give up our tea and you're not willing to give up anything? Like, Adria as an HOH was truly a dictator this week. She didn't consult with her team. She wasn't actually trying to work with them, which I understand. She doesn't like Will and Karen. Will and Karen doesn't like her. They were going after her. She was going after them. But there's still a way that you can finesse it to where that you can at least come off as if you're still trying to work with them. It was so blatantly obvious that Adria had an agenda. And when Will was nominated, it was like, well, fuck her. It is funny, though, I will say that Will and Karen was so pressed as a nomination because they literally for weeks. Will and Karen have been trying to push the Adria and now Natalie target for weeks. And it's like, low-key, she clocked your T, Will, and now you're out of the game. And now you're mad. It's like, I would have loved a little bit more if she was able to keep her relationship with Marvin and still do that with Will and Karen. Now, when Nakomis went in the next HOH, it's like, well, damn, your bitches got fucked anyway. But it's like, at least you would have took a stand on a nomination that would have kept you more allies in the game. Yeah, but child, who knows? Because the way Diane flipped her mind by the end of the week.
Yeah, very much so. It's very weird because she was operating, and I think another issue with the HOH as a whole is that it was jarring. We just had Diane, who was, come on, Scooby-Doo gang, all of us need to be in the HOH all the time. Everybody come here. We're all allies. We're all a group. Everybody. Then we got Nakomis, and Nakomis was very much so, we all in on this plan. We finna snow them. We finna eat them up, y'all. Yes, girls, girl power. And then Adria wins, and she says, y'all not coming in my room. Fuck y'all. It's just me. Hey, this is Adria. This is Big A's HOH. It's jarring. It's like, even if you want to do what you're doing, it needed to be in a more discreet way. She basically said, fuck everybody, it's Adria's. She literally said, this is Adria's house, bitch, and this is Adria's decision, bitch. And it's like, girl, it was just very jarring how quick she flipped on the entire group. And yeah, Will and Karen were coming after her. And it's what you're saying, because they had this discussion, Adria and Natalie, literally after this, and they've been talking, and they're like, should we put up Marvin, Will, or Karen? And in my mind, I'm thinking, if Will and Karen are both options, why aren't we just nominating Will and Karen, and then we can have a deal with Marvin like we have a deal with Cowboy? It makes and Marvin loves them, by the way. Big bootylicious ×2. So it just didn't make any sense. I didn't understand it. And personally, I think once this week started, in my opinion, Adria should have just nominated Marvin and Cowboy, because she didn't do any real work against Will and Karen, which is why by the end of the week, Diane is confused and low-key siding with them, and why by the end of the week, Nakomis hates them, because there was no work done for Nakomis and even Diane, who damn near told her to do it. There still wasn't any reasons given to these girls as to why they should target Will and Karen, which is why Diane flipped her entire mind, because there's not a real reason. She's just doing it. Like, there's not a real reason for Diane to do it.
Really consulting with them. Like, she's only consulting with Natalie for the most part this week. It's like little conversations here and there, but they're not meeting as a team. They're not really coming to this decision together. Like, I think a good way to make a decision is to make sure your alliance fills in on it. That way, y'all are making this decision. This isn't just Adria's and Natalie's decision. This is all four of you guys' decision, and they didn't do that. So it is easy for someone like Diane, who is in the middle, to side with another side, because she's feeling like, oh my god, like, I mean, I'm not really involved in this. It's kind of it's happening without my will, and it's like, no, girl, it's somewhat your will too. But it's like, it becomes fully Adria and Natalie's thing this week. It doesn't become anyone else's, and they even get mad about that. Like, why is Natalie getting scrutinized for my moves? Well, it's because y'all sit in the HOH all the time and talk game, and y'all don't talk game with anyone else. And when you do, it's dominating the conversation and trying to ask, what information do you have? It's like, it was a bad week. It was a really bad week.
Very weird. It was very weird, because with nominating Will, you're pissing off Karen, Nakomis, and Will, and you know that. And then with nominating Marvin, you're also pissing off Marvin. They pissed off 4 people when they didn't have to. They could have only pissed off 1. Honestly, with nominating Marvin and Cowboy, telling Cowboy, you're a pawn. Cowboy probably been like, okay, and then put up Marvin. Only Marvin's mad. Like, y'all didn't even do that. Y'all pissed off 4 different people for no reason.
Like, to have a bad HOH week like this when you also had the veto is insane, girl. Like, she had all the power this week and she let it go to her head and she went crazy. She really went
100%.
crazy.
It was crazy. So she noms Marvin and Will. Everybody's gagged. Like, Nakomis specifically is very upset. She's confused. Will is upset. He's confused. And it's a difference between, because Will and Karen were targeting her 100%. But the way she went about it, which is what Natalie had to check her one time. And Natalie was in a conversation with her. And Adria was like, girl, I don't know why they're so mad. And Natalie was like, I don't think they're mad at what you did. They're more mad at the way it happened. Like, the way it happened was a little off. And it's like, girl, you surprised them. Surprise? Like, I would be mad if I'm surprised whether I hate you or not.
I really enjoy Natalie more than Adria. From what I've gleaned throughout the season and what we heard from their parents during that little home visit, Natalie is the more aggressive one, and you can kind of see that with the conversations and the strategy. She's, I feel like, more grounded as far as being able to talk to people and kind of understand what they're saying and kind of give them what I feel like they need. Even though it's very pushy, which people notice, I feel like it's kind of more active and slightly effective. Whereas Adria seems to just be a good competitor, but it's more so all over the place. Like, she reverts back a lot to that, the religion of it all and playing with integrity, while I think Natalie, she has that as well, but she also, I think, plays more, or at least socializes more. Like, it just seems like her head is way more attached. Like, if this was Natalie, I would love to see Natalie play this game alone, not Adria. I feel like Adria would have cracked like this even if Natalie wasn't here, low key. But Natalie feels like someone who is a little bit more level-headed.
Yeah, I can agree with that, honestly. So Adria has a moment in the kitchen. She asking Will if he wants some food or something like that. And Will is like, well, I actually lost my appetite for some reason. Being real snappy, real passive aggressive. And I actually like Will. Will is the type of person where it seems like, I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like I wouldn't like him. It seemed like he would be the type of gay where it's like he thinks he's Regina George type shit. But he doesn't, very snooty. He doesn't actually act that way when he socializes. He's a very social person, which is why by the end of the week, majority of people did want him to stay in the game. Like, he's very likable, very, very social. He even had this relationship with Marvin. He's always had a relationship with Marvin. He had a relationship with the boys the whole season, the girls the whole season. He's very, very social, and I actually kind of like him. But in this moment, he goes to her and he's like, okay, girl, I didn't mean to be snappy and rude because I was passive aggressive, but honestly, I just don't understand why you would put me up after I defended you. I helped you stay in the game earlier, you know, he's trying to make her feel guilty.
And as he should. But that's what kills me about Adria, though, is she's so upset about Will and Marvin's reaction as if she didn't nominate them. Like, she's giving Christmas. It's giving Christmas down. It is like the way she is upset that they're upset about being nominated. They're like, well, me and Will had a relationship, so I don't know why he's so mad now. And they did all of this trashing of Marvin. They're saying that, oh, we want to nominate him because he's a pervert. We want to nominate him because we feel like he can get the jury votes at the end. Like, all of these reasons that you feel like he should go. But when he's nominated, he's upset about it. You're like, well, I don't understand why he's mad. Like, I just don't get it. It's like you nominated them. Like, what are you talking about?
And it is giving Christmas, because you remember Christmas went around asking why they were mad at her. That's damn near what Adria did too. She did that with Marvin. She went after she talks to Will. She walks up to Marvin and she's like, "Well, Marvin, you know, I just want you to know that it wasn't giving this and da da da." And Marvin was like, "I just don't understand because I didn't have any allies. No one likes me. No one cares about me. No one even talks to me in the game. And there are so many people who are walking around as duos. You had other threats you could have put up, and you didn't even do that. So I'm confused." And it didn't seem like she was immediately trying to be a victim, but the response she gave, it just didn't give she understood where he was coming from. And then of course he brought up the fact that it's the black and the gay on the block. Happy Juneteenth, by the way.
Happy Juneteenth, bitch.
Shout out to the black. Shout out to the black. Shout out to the blacks. Period. Anyways, how the blacks and the gays is up, and then of course she started feeling like her character was getting yada yada yada. But girl, you can't be walking around saying your reason is religion and the God, and then be confused when he says that. And that's another thing. Is like, she doesn't understand the consequences of her actions. You nominated a gay man and a black man, and you're telling them it's because God told you to, which is already a lie. But you're doing that, and then you're confused by the response. How are you confused?
Why are you mad at God's decision?
But girl, you're being
like
so.
That's what she's trying to say. It's like she wanted to take no accountability for the nominations themselves. Even when nominating them, she didn't give them the actual reasons as to why she did it. Which I get it. You don't want to give up all of your tea, but at least give them something tangible to hold on to. Saying it's God is not gonna ground anyone. It's not gonna make anyone feel secure with you, especially later in the week when you're trying to get them to beg for safety. It's like she truly became the victim, and she could not see how she was in the wrong at all. It was weird. It was actually weird. It's Christmas. It's literally Christmas. It's so Christmas coded. Christmas. Like she's the original Christmas. It's actually insane.
Yeah. Child. Well, Christmas is like her. Christmas is like Adria. Who would have knew to compare the two?
That is actually insane. I did not remember, because we watched this years ago together. I feel like we got to around this part and stopped. So I really don't remember anything else past this, other than what I know from the Wikipedia, because by this point in the game, I kind of know who goes when. I just don't know how it happens. But in general, like, I haven't seen or known past this week. So I'm excited to see what it's going to give.
Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking.
Oh my God. Joy said Christmas Eve. That's me.
Child, I was, I just realized the veto wasn't used this week, but the veto has been used a lot this season. A lot, because it was used last week for the back door to take out Jace. The week before that, or not the week before that. Wait. Jace used it on Holly earlier in the season. It's been used multiple times. It's been used like 3-4 times.
Last time
Nakomis won. Nakomis won and used it on herself.
Yep.
So that's 3 times, 4 times
in the future. And it's crazy because the first time it was introduced, it was only used on Marcellus. The second time, it was a full golden. It was used on Allison twice. And now this time it's been used on different people multiple times.
Yeah, so it was used on Allison 3 times.
3 times?
She used it on herself twice, and Nathan used it on her 1 time. She had that veto, girl. That veto was hers, baby. She was eating that shit up. And then now it's been used like, now it just feels like a relic. Like, this feels like a regular season when it comes to how often the veto is used. This is very average. Like, it was used.
I wouldn't say regular season, because it got rough.
It got bad. It got average. It's like in the middle, like, because it gets used a lot nowadays. Well, in 26 it got used a lot, and then sometimes it doesn't get used at all. But this is like definitely in between. But yeah, I just noticed that. But anyways, we get to the veto competition. This veto competition was so stupidly. Let me tell you why.
Speaking of Christmas,
speaking of Christmas. As a math guru, fuck a math guru. Oh my God, it's so stupid. So they have Christmas presents that they can grab, right? If someone else already has a present, you can swap with their present so you can get their number, because you have to have the highest number by the end of the veto, right? Boom. Let me tell you why it's stupid as fuck. Will literally didn't get the opportunity to swap. Every other person could have swapped except Will, because he went first. Will literally could not swap. No one else had a present. Will was the only one with a present. So they said, Will, take your present. We're going to the next person. Then it's also stupid because Adria, she goes last. So she has the opportunity to swap with every single other person who went. So she can swap with anybody, and she's the only person who can swap with anybody because she went last. No one else can swap. This was the stupidest veto I've ever seen mathematically. They did not think this out, because if you're going to let them swap, everyone should be able to swap with everyone. Will could not swap. He was never going to win the veto. That's stupid as fuck. I'm like, are they dumb? I'm glad
you broke that down, because I will say I was confused while watching. I was like, okay.
Girl, like, they're so stupid. Like, literally everyone should have been able to swap. It should have been everyone get your presents, read your numbers out, then everyone one by one gets an opportunity to swap if they want to. Instead, they only let them swap whatever. And I don't know if it gave rigged. I don't know what it gave, because it's like,
I feel like they didn't think it through. It seemed like
they didn't think it through, because probability wise, Adria was the most likely to win the veto because she went last. That's just the probability of it. That's just math. So, like, her winning is like, it's gaggy because she got the HOH and the veto and she's cracked. But it was obvious because she went last. The person who went last was going to be most likely to win no matter what, because they could switch with anybody. It was just it pissed me off.
I feel like that was my most negative thing, because even while watching, it'd be hard for me to follow the rules, because I guess I just be zoning out. Like, that's how it was in school for me. Once direction started getting said, I zoned the fuck out, bitch. I've been playing like, okay, how do I win this again? Like, I need very simple instructions. Like, I was like, I would be the person. Julie, can you explain it again? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I get a visual?
Though.
Can I get a visual description?
An example, bitch. I think it helps if, like, in newer seasons, it helps because they repeat competitions. So now it's like, okay, I know how that works. I don't have to understand it. But there's some that I'm like, hold the fuck on, bitch. What is it? Especially like some of the mental comps. I'm like, girl, what's tea?
You know what though? I know that comps were equitable last season. I can't remember any of the vetoes in BB26.
Let me try to think of one.
Like, competitions really don't stick out for me. I'm not a big competition fan of the show. Yeah. Like, I only care who wins them as far as like what kind of competition, what it was, shit, what music it was on during it. Like, those comps would fuck me up in Big Brother. Yeah, I know I was not paying attention to that damn competition. I know OTEV, I know motherfucking The Wall, bitch. Like, other than that,
so right. I don't remember shit. You're so right. Couldn't tell you. Compared to all I remember is the HOH for a lot of
the AI arenas, but I can't really tell you a veto. I'm glad they were equitable though.
Yeah.
Oh! I do remember that one that Cam won. The one that Cam beat Tucker in. That was that little luck one where they throw the thing and it hits one of the people.
Nope. Maybe I didn't watch them. Maybe that's the problem.
I missed a lot of Wednesday episodes. I do miss a lot of Wednesday's episodes.
I miss a lot of Wednesday as well. And also, if I'm watching, usually I use the competition as like a food break or a pee break. Or
very much that. Okay. Or a phone break. Okay, man. I don't remember this, Eric. Only veto I remember is the tiny can one.
I didn't even know they had a tiny can veto last season. No shade. Who won that? Chelsea? I think Chelsea did.
The Cedric versus Tucker one, where it's basically the glass bitch from Squid Game.
Yes, I remember that one too. That was an HOH though. Wasn't it?
It could be.
No, that wasn't an HOH. That wasn't an HOH.
I don't remember that one.
That was a veto.
I love the AI arenas. Like, most of them were really, really interesting. I'm praying to God. Like, do we mind? Quick segue. Do we mind 3 nominees? Like, if the AI arena is a permanent addition, I don't think I mind 3 nominees pre-jury every time.
I think the reason I don't mind it, but I kind of don't like how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Because jury is now so much shorter, but that's just a me thing. It's fine. I love the
AI. I don't love the shorter jury. I don't love it with the twist.
I hate how long. Yeah, the twist helps. I just hate how long it lasts. Honestly, I don't mind the AI arena at all. I actually find it very entertaining for pre-jury, but it lasting all the way until week 9 is what it's like. Damn, we at week 9? No shade, but it's cute.
Ooh, this could be gaggy, good man. 1 week we need 4 noms for a double. That would be nasty.
I miss pre-jury doubles.
Yes, I miss the pre-jury doubles. We need that energy before. The thing is, I'm gonna get used to it if it's a new norm. I think they love the idea of a shorter jury. It just feels weird with a 16-player cast, like Mimi and Jared not being in jury, not being able to vote. Joseph and Tucker not being able to vote. Like, Tucker gives first player and jury energy. The fact that he wasn't, it just feels weird. But I feel like as we go along, it's gonna be okay.
It'll be all right. Yeah, and I'm okay with it. I kind of just want them to speed up the process. If Tucker and Joseph was a double, I would kind of like not care that much. I would kind of be like, okay, boom, it doubled out and now we're in jury. It's the fact that it's 1 week every single, like, it's a whole full week for that entire time. It's like, that's a long time we're in pre-jury, girl. But yeah.
And then J. Griff Fury said, it's whatever. We had 3 nominees since BB15 on and off. That is a fair point. And I really enjoyed it in BB15 and in BB18. I honestly think they should do a situation where it's 3 nominees, but one of them is decided by someone that wins another competition. I wouldn't mind if they did that again. Like, if America votes every time, that could be a fun thing. America votes a 3rd nominee, or that could be fun here and there. Or someone just wins a competition.
They did that.
I would prefer if we vote someone to nominate someone, or they win a competition and do it. I don't want the HOH to continue to do 3 at a time. I think that's my only thing.
I don't like the HOH doing 3 at a time either. Honestly, I didn't like it in 15 or in 18. I'm just not a big fan of the 3 nominees. But I definitely don't like that the HOH nominates 3 people. I feel like that's just it's kind of losing the origins of Big Brother just a little bit, but it's the AI arena is so cunty that I kind of don't care. It really helps, honestly. So hey, we're here. The veto happens. Adria wins the veto, and she gets more itis. It's a lot of the times people have HOH itis. It seems like they win the veto too. It's like, damn, like they got too much power. My God. But yes, she has too much dip on her.
Really, really interesting though, because the dip is on her chip, as you said. And the twins, they start talking in the room as they do, and they're like, well, basically, maybe we can save Marvin here. They're talking and they're realizing that the three Will, Karen, and Nakomis, they are basically the real threat of the house, and that they should dismantle that as best as they can, which should have been the original plan from the get-go, if you ask me. And basically, Adria is like, well, I want Marvin to come to me. We want to save Marvin. We want to offer Marvin a deal, but we want Marvin to come to us first. They're like, well, we're gonna drop hints. We're gonna just drop these little hints, and then that's gonna give him the energy to come talk to us, and then we'll be able to decide based on what he offers us. So it's like they want to go forward with this plan of literally renominating Nakomis. They want to use veto on Marvin and then renominate Nakomis, but they don't want to initiate any of this. They want Marvin to come to them and beg for his life, and then they can make the decision. It's like, are you dumb? Are you dumb? And then that is what leads to the conversation we actually saw in the episode when Adria is talking to Marvin. And at first, if you just watch the episode, it seems like, oh, clearly she wants him to beg. You know what I mean? However, they actually had an entire plan set up. And this makes them even further mad with Marvin because they feel like, well, we tried to save your life in the game and you don't even want it. Because in the episode, we see him say, fuck you, fuck the veto. You can have it. I'm not going to beg for the veto. Let the votes fall where they may. I'm not going to campaign against Will and everything else in between. And Adria is like, oh, wow. How dare he? How dare he not beg me to use? We're going to use the veto, but he wants to do all of this now. We're not even going to do it. It's like,
the dip on her chip was crazy, and it's such a stupid, silly expectation. I will say, like with Marvin and Will, I was kind of annoyed with them gameplay wise that they weren't trying, but honestly, girl, her expecting him to do what she wants to do in order for her to move forward how she wants to move, it's just so chip on her shouldery. Like, it's just so above it all. Like, who the fuck are you, God? Like, why would I do what you exactly want me to do?
For her. He's speaking through her.
Girl, she just had a very big God complex. That's what it was. She had a God complex this entire week. It was so weird. And Marvin didn't do what the fuck she wanted because Marvin not gonna do that, especially not on Juneteenth. I guess it wasn't Juneteenth in the house.
But still, it's like, like you don't know anything about Marvin at this point. Like, that's not in Marvin's character, and he says that in the diary room. Like, that's not me. I would never do that. I'm not gonna beg for my safety. And then they're so mad about that. And then that would lead to her in the kitchen talking about well, if no one wants to be here, then we should just make it a tie. Just make it a tie.
Oh, this big thing. Where did that come from? It was so weird because her speaking aloud to herself and Natalie got her so hyped up to where she started to get upset. Why are you mad? Like, it's so Christmas coded. Oh my God. Christmas Eve for real. Because you're getting mad because the nominees don't want to talk to your ass. Why would they talk to you? Why would they beg you and get on their knees? Why would they? You're not God, bitch. Like, I don't know what she thought she was in this moment, but she was so irritated at the response. I guess no one wants to be saved. No one wants to be saved then. You know what, Diane? I just want to let she was stuttering and shit. She was so mad she was stuttering. I just want to let y'all know that honestly that I feel like I should have the choice. I feel like I should have the choice because nobody wants to talk to me about getting saved. Nobody wants to be saved, so I should have the choice. And I would love if you guys could tie it and give me the choice. Okay? Girl, boo. Shout out to Zuda Man. Zuda Man says, has Drew even been nominated yet? 2 people have not been nominated yet. Drew, you know the other one, Lee?
Is it Cowboy?
It's Cowboy, girl. You got to give him his 10. Well, you don't. You don't have to give him his 10. You got to give him his, something. One. I can't give you a 10. I can't give you a 10. But 8.5. But yes, child. All of this. So she goes around telling everybody that she wants it to tie. And honestly, this is the best thing that Diane and Drew could hear because it absolves them. This is everything she did this week was stupid because now
everything,
everything, because now that she's begging for it to be tied, stomping around the house like a supervillain, asking everyone to do it. Now, whenever Diane and Drew make it a tie, there's no reason for Nakomis or Karen to be mad at them. You could have at least made them vote him out so that way Nakomis and Karen could be mad at them. No, you're so stupid and you're so above it all and in your head that you want to have the last decision, and now nobody else voting is going to be at fault. No one's vote no one's going to be mad at anyone's vote. Even the people who voted out Marvin and the people who voted out Will, no one's going to be mad at them because Adria, you wanted this. You wanted it to tie. She gave all of the weight of this week on her. The HOH, the veto, and the vote. You're stupid. For no reason.
I really do not understand where all of this came from. She had been handling herself so well up until this point, it felt like even with the whole twist with Natalie, like she essentially had to play at a disadvantage to gain the advantage of her sister coming into the game. And she was able to do so, in my opinion, successfully. They got in, they created this structure. It was going so well for them. Even the plan at the beginning of the week of protecting Cowboy. It's like when they got to Will and Karen is where they started making a mistake because they wanted Marvin to go. And I understand Marvin is a weirdo. He is a little bit of a pervert. We would express that. And them saying that as a reason, I feel like that's 100% fair. It's just, you have to choose a side that you're going to target. If you felt like Marvin needs to go, he has to go up with Cowboy. Make a deal. Lie. You already have the alliance with Will and Karen. Will and Karen, even though they're against them, they weren't going to have the balls to nominate them, and they still could have the safety with Drew and Diane. So it's the decision to nominate two from two different sides. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you never want to do that. You need to piss off one angle of the house, not both at the same damn time.
Very much so. Child, and this is music to Drew and Diane's ears because for the rest of the week they're going to be playing the middle and make sure that they're in between the vote and they do exactly what she asked, which is tie it. Child.
Well, that's the thing, because we already talked about with Diane. Diane was playing the middle, and then Diane actually became a member of the other side. And this is why I want to get into Drew a little bit, because Drew really continues to impress me slightly, the way he kind of plays the house, because it kind of goes back to the conversation we've been having about his game, where it's like, even though he doesn't have any real agency right now, as far as like a group of people that he's at the head of, he is able to work this middle so flawlessly. You know what I mean? Like the way that he talks to Adria and Natalie, it's very calm and collected. Like Diane, because she started freaking out, started to lose Natalie and Adria's trust. You know what I mean? I kind of read ahead a little bit, but they're like, yeah, Diane through that HOH and all this other shit. Like they're starting to feel like Diane is turning on them, but they feel like they still have Drew. And then Cowboy, the relationship with him, he's fully, rejuvenated that one, which Cowboy was going to make sure that happened anyway, because he has no other man in the house to follow. But he was able to kind of get that loyalty back. And what I found really interesting is that Cowboy does not want Diane in the house. He feels like that Diane is infiltrating Drew's mind the way Holly did Jace's. And it's crazy how Drew will switch so quick with Cowboy and just start dragging Diane. Like, I was like, oh my God, like he's eating her up. But then I realized this is only to placate Cowboy. This is to make Cowboy feel better in this moment. And then he goes and he talks to Nakomis and Will and them, and he talks to them about how, I don't know if we can trust the twins. They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's like the way he's like playing every circle of the house. He does it so naturally. And you think,
he works
Drew's not doing this. Drew's being honest at this moment. People think Drew is honest. They think he's loyal. They think all of these things. And really, he's the biggest player in this bitch. It's crazy. And he even does the same thing to Diane. He tells everyone what they want to hear. And he does it like so seamlessly. I just find that really interesting about him.
Very, very much so. Eats that up. Now, Diane, we already said it, but she's acting a fool the entire. It's like bad. Like, I don't think we're explaining how bad it was. It was bad. She was running around the house, and we saw in the episode. We actually saw on the episode the moment where she catches Adria and Marvin talking at night. She calls Marvin out in front of everybody the next day because she's been erratic for like the last 3-4 days of this week. She's been erratically running around the house confused and calling people out. She called out Adria and Natalie at one point, and they were like, girl, what wait, hold on. Like, she's doing so much because she's feeling worried that Adria and Natalie are actually against her and Drew. And Will had told her, oh, I have this plan to speak to Adria and Natalie. And after he left the room, after speaking to Adria and Natalie for this plan that literally doesn't do anything, she's panicking and she has to ask them about it. It's just so much. And I'm like, girl, you need to calm down. You're being too loud. It was very intense. But by the end of the week, they end up getting a tie. Of course, the vote ties like Adria wants it to, and she's able to vote out the gay. I know that's right. She said gay. God said no gay. God hates gays, bitch. That's what she said.
Oh my God. God made Adam and Steve. I mean, Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, bitch.
Not Adam and Will.
That's how that happens.
Yeah, my villa.
And this is how Adria and Natalie lose the game.
This is literally how Adria and Natalie uses the game. And this is what's sad because it's like, when at the beginning of the week, and I still kind of feel this because they were already so against Will and Karen, like to just go after Will and Karen. But they really should have just did Marvin and Cowboy because Nakomis gags alive and wins this next HOH. So it's like,
literally going into the next week, Nakomis, Karen, and Marvin are definitely targeting the twins. Will is out of the game. Cowboy wouldn't, potentially, from what he says. And Drew and Diane are playing the middle. They're probably both going to throw the H. Honestly, they probably did throw the HOH. Honestly, because neither of them, I feel like, want to do it, but they know everyone else is going to do it. So they're public enemy number one. It's real bad for them. Let's get into these motherfucking ratings, girl. Lee Rewind. Starting off with William Stanford. How do you feel about William as an overall player, baby?
William Stanford is his name?
No, I made that up.
Oh, girl, I was going to say, okay. Will, as an overall player, he was a really interesting player. Like, I really loved how in the beginning he was playing the middle. Like, that was the type of gamer he was. He'd work best, like, I feel like, in the split house if he's able to kind of, work both sides seamlessly. And that's what he was doing earlier. It's just when the sides started, dissipating and the girl power alliance got all the majority, he wasn't really able to, or he wasn't doing any of the social maneuvering as he was before. He wasn't locking in any alliance with Diane and Drew. He wasn't locking in anything with the twins. He wasn't really, solidifying anything with Marvin over here. He was kind of just talking about how we can influence this person or we could get these people to do this, but he wasn't really laying the groundwork for that. And he ended up getting blindsided by the twins here, which I wouldn't say he could see coming, but he went home because he didn't have those solidified relationships with someone like Cowboy, with someone like Drew, and one of the twins that sent him home. I do feel like even when nominated, he could have handled it better because he is a really smart, intelligent player. From my opinion, he seemed like he's someone that would have been able to kind of get out of this situation if he really cared to stay in it. But I think once he was nominated, he was more pissed off than anything. So all of the strategy really went out of the window. He was still nice to their face, but as far as like campaigning, he wasn't really doing that. I think in a way he kind of expected to stay, kind of how he kind of just expected things to happen for him in the game as well. So I don't know. I feel like because he went out fairly early, it's like, it's halfway, but there's still a lot of people left in the game. I think I want to go with the 5.5. Like, I feel like if he made it deeper, I would say like a 6 or higher. But I feel like we saw a lot of momentum and then it kind of just petered out once their side took majority. Like, you don't just stop working once the majority happens.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with a lot of your points, honestly, because it's true. He was doing really good. In my opinion, he was doing really, really good. He was one of the best players of the season for the first 4 weeks. And then, like you said, when the girls took control, he really just did not kick it up with the activeness. It so reminds me of T-Core. And I remember, I think I gave T-Core a 6 overall or something like that. Reminds me of T-Core a lot in the sense of like, you had control, you had a lot of agency at first, and then it just kind of went away. He's very smart, and I think one of his strong suits is his sociability. They didn't necessarily want him to like go. Like, even though Diane targeted him, by the end of the week, she didn't want him to leave. It was like he does have this energy to him that is very, very, very positive. Someone asked earlier in the chat, is Will a good socially? He's very good socially. Like, I would say social game is his strongest suit. Like, Marvin didn't want him to go, but he was on the block. Karen, Nakomis, or Diane didn't want him to go. Drew really likes him, but Drew is a smart ass player. It's like he really just isn't someone who I feel like normally would do so bad. I feel like he just needed a little bit more game focusedness, especially when he got comfortable, and he could have done better. I like his game, and especially for like the 5th season, well, really like kind of the 4th season, I really did appreciate it. I'm gonna give him the 6. Because although he went home early, I do still think he had so much positivity up until this week that I feel like it evens it out for me for sure. Marvin, gave him a 1. And this is what I'll say about Marvin. I guess I don't have to, but I'll say it real quick. When it comes to overall what I'll give Marvin, I don't think it's going to be a 1 the way I've been giving him in the game so far, because there's a reason Marvin is still in the game. And I do think it is attributed to the way he's able to pivot so quickly. And I think that does help him sometimes, but he's just still not in the best position at all. Luckily for him, Adria and Natalie are public enemy number 1, and he's not necessarily public enemy number 1 anymore. Honestly, he was, but he's not anymore. It's truly Adria and Natalie. I truly think everybody will nominate them, and I don't think Drew and Diane will try to win. If they win, that's when he's in trouble, as if it's a Drew or a Diane. But even them, I don't necessarily think they want to be in that position. I think he's kind of safe for now, for 1 round maybe, because of them becoming such big targets. He didn't play this week well, though. He got nominated, and he didn't offer them a deal. Cowboy did. Why didn't you? He didn't try to get vetoed, even though they would have vetoed him. He could have gotten vetoed from this box if he was an active player. He simply just isn't active. I gave him a 1 for being public enemy number 1. I'll give him a 2 for not being public enemy number 2, literally. But it wasn't. He's still not good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like a reason to move him from my spot. I don't know what I'm going to give him overall. I do feel like while he's someone that people enjoy, he's not someone that people feel like needs to stay around. He's kind of been the pawn star up until this point, mainly because no one really is seeing him as their loyal ally, and he's always going to just be the available option. Like, he's lucky that targets keep falling in front of him. Like, now the Twins are in front of him. So that's going to probably buy him 2 more weeks. But past that, then what? I wouldn't be surprised if he goes next. I don't remember if he does, but it won't be shocking, because it's like, you don't have any real allies, and he's not interested in really building any. Like, he's kind of just chilling and laying around. So we'll see what I give him at the end of the day. I don't think I'm going to be that high on him, because while he can make people laugh, he doesn't make people, I think, fall in love with him enough to where they want to keep him in the game. Like, people, I feel like, talk shit about him more than they say they enjoy him, or they just don't talk about him at all.
How you feeling about Cowboy, girl?
Cowboy, I think he did really good this week. Like, he went in, he had that conversation with Adria or with Natalie, I can't remember, one of the twins, and that kind of solidified his safety throughout the entire week. I do like that he did the initiative of throwing Marvin under the bus, because the Twins did use that information as a reason to put Marvin up, other than God, of course. And I do like that he's still trying to initiate this relationship with Drew, because I don't think he knows this, but by connecting himself to Drew is inadvertently saving him, because someone like Diane is not going to allow anything to disrupt Drew's game necessarily, and Cowboy would do that. So that's keeping him safe. It doesn't seem like people are really looking after him. Like, he's very lucky that that Adria and Natalie did this, because now, though the 2 targets in front of him, Will and Karen were looking at him, but now they no longer are. Marvin, he was an option for him, but Marvin's going to be worried about the Twins. So even though he could go up as a pawn, he kind of is now in this spot where he's protected by all of these targets as well. And he kind of have to one up over someone like Marvin, because he does have that ally in Drew that will look after him, So I think, I'll go higher on him. I don't know where I want to go up to, though. Let's go back up to the 5.
Yep, I agree with the 5. What I really appreciate about Cowboy's game is that he did this himself. It wasn't just Adria and Natalie chose this, or they're offering him. No, he went to them and told them all of this information about Marvin, essentially encouraging them to nominate Marvin. One of the nominees you could attribute to Cowboy if you wanted to, honestly. He basically snitched on Marvin. They believed it, put the nigga up. He also, like you said, does have connections to Drew. He was so bad last week because he was so up under Jason Scott, and he was falling down with them on the sword. But if you remember, week 1 and week 2, we were higher on week 1, week 2, and week 3. We were higher on Cowboy, because Cowboy was playing the game, period. And then when Scott and Jay started getting targeted, he just allowed himself to get targeted with them, which was very weird. But now that they're gone, he's back to being a very active player. He simply is just one of the more active players here. There's only like 3, and he's one of them. So I think it's really good gameplay, honestly. He's surprising. He's surprisingly does things like he's the type of person you think just genuinely doesn't do shit, but he does. He also had a really like long conversation with Nakomis this week, basically trying to reprimand their duo as well. And that's just smart. Like the fact that he is trying to continue this duo with Nakomis, that's good because baby, you don't have nobody. So he's trying that with Nakomis. Nakomis has admitted to Julie she'd never nominate Cowboy, and that's another positive for his game. She said she'd never nominated him, but she'd evict him. But not being nominated by her or Drew or Adria Natalie at this point, bitch, that's most of the people in the house. He's really kind of going to be safe for a little bit. Next is Karen. Girl, she's a flop. Now, she lost her closest ally. Terrible for her. Terrible. She didn't really do great this week. She was damn near a nominee herself. Once again, she has some qualities that we can talk about when we get to her overall. And I think sometimes that, like, the reason she didn't get nominated is because, frankly, I don't think people find her that threatening. But not that she isn't crazy, but when you hear her in the diary room, I think it feels like she's doing a lot of extra outside of the diary room. And it's weird because I think Karen is extra. I'm not saying Karen isn't extra, but a part of me is like, bitch, are you playing this up? Are you trying to seem like a kooky old lady when really, you know, you're not that kooky at all? Like, even in the conversation with Adria, even because she is very kooky, but even in the conversation with Adria, she's like, oh, well, like she's playing dumb. The bitch isn't dumb, is the point. She's not dumb, but she was playing dumb in that conversation, and she seems very dumb to everybody else except Will. And it's like, in reality, she's not. And I think that playing upness of her being a little silly and kooky helps prevent her from seeming like a target. And I think that helped her from not being nominated this week as well, because it's like, bitch, you're not a target. You're nothing, you know? They wanted Will out. Will is more threatening, and I think that helped her, but she's still not in a great, but she's in actually a terrible position, and no one really likes her. She kind of has Nakomis, because Nakomis is kind of locked more in with her than I thought so. Other than that, she doesn't have anyone. Drew and Diane don't care for her. Adria and Natalie aren't with her. She doesn't talk to Cowboy. And Marvin doesn't like her 90% of the time, and she don't like him 90% of the time. Gave her a 3 last week. I feel even worse about her this week because Will went home. So I'm going to have to give her the 2.5.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give it a 2 overall. It was just a really bad week. And I don't know, like, while she has those smart moments in the diary room, she has those smart moments on the feeds as well. When you're reading, like, she has those moments where she's like talking good game strategy with Will. But even Will has mentioned how annoyed he get with Karen, because when she is talking strategy, she's kooky with that too. She's like very aggressive, and she's pushing things, and she's always repeating things, and she's coming back and telling the same shit. It's like, it's not something that is like, how smart she is not overshadowing how kooky she is at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like she goes in the diary room and becomes a whole different person. I feel like that's one snippet of her saying something smart, and then the rest of the hour she's in there talking about something else. You know what I mean? Like, it's really bad. But once again, you know, she's even less active than Will was, you know? And Will still did things here and there. Like, now that Will is gone, I don't know what she's going to do for herself other than just float in the wind with the Girls Alliance. And that's not even the real alliance anymore. At this point, I remember thinking like, oh, Diane was with the girls all the way up until, and then she flipped on them. No, at this point, it's already Drew, Diane, and Cowboy. And it's not like a spoken thing, but Drew is in the center, and he has Cowboy, and now he has Diane. And the twins are the targets, and then you just have Nakomis, Marvin, and Karen over there, and they're not working together. And I would assume Nakomis would choose Diane probably over Karen, and you have just Karen there. So she's in a terrible position. She has no one looking out for her, and she has no one seeing her as a priority. They're really all just kind of annoyed by her. They've already spoken about how she just rides coattails. They feel like she's a floater. They speak very negatively on the type of game she plays. So she also doesn't have any, I think, win equity as of now, even if she was able to try and turn it around and win some HOHs. So, yeah.
Yeah. Natalie, how you feeling?
I'm gonna still do Natalie and Andrea, even though I'm probably giving them different scores because girl, they're twins. But what I feel about Natalie in general is that I kind of said it earlier. She's a little bit more grounded than Adria. She seems like she has a little bit more sense than Adria. I would love to see her play this game by herself because she's a little bit more reserved. I feel like she could be less of a target. Like one of the main things making them a target is that Adria's kooky and that they're twins. If she didn't have any of those things ruining her, I think Natalie could be in a good position. She could be well liked because Adria's the one that is kind of all over the place and bouncing off the walls. Adria, this was a terrible HOH for her because she literally, we talked about it all. She pissed people off multiple sides of the game. She didn't take any accountability for it. She wanted people to beg for their safety, even though she was probably not going to use it any goddamn way. And she just kept changing what she wanted, and without letting any one of her close allies in, it just ostracized them. So I feel like, honestly, Natalie, please get away from Adria. I don't really know who go. Well, I do know now who goes first, but it's like I would love to see if Adria went home next, what Natalie would do in the game, because I do think Natalie could make something shake. I think Natalie could go somewhere, whereas Adria is forever going to be a target because she's good at comps and she's so crazy. You know, Natalie is the one having conversations. She's the main one speaking to people. She's the main one getting information, and she's bringing it to Adria. When Adria speaks to people, it's like ever since she got HOH, it's just off. It's just off. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know what happened to her. So Natalie, I'm going to give Natalie, because of the terrible week her sister did and her being so attached to it, I'm going to give Natalie the 3. And I'm going to give Adria, this was a bad week.
It was a bad
week. This is a bad week. Give Natalie the 2.5 and give Adria that 1.
Yeah, okay. We on the same page. I'm doing the exact same thing. Natalie at 2.5, Adria 1. Somebody in the chat, let me pull this up because it's not the same. Shout out to Frankie J. Thank you for being here, buddy. Frankie J says, I feel like Adria has to be rated lower than Natalie this week because didn't we give a -20 to Avery and Big Brother Canada 12 for turning on her allies? Now, it's Avery. It's not the same at all. Adria did not turn on her allies. It seems that way, but it's not the same as what Avery did. Will wanted Adria out of the game. 1000%. Will wanted Adria to go. So her putting up Will and taking him out isn't the same as Avery taking out Kayla, who was her damn near number 1, or whoever she took out. That shit was crazy. She did it twice, didn't she? Avery took out 2 of her damn near number 1 allies. That shit was
Avery
crazy.
was taking out everybody closest to her.
Avery was taking out everybody she didn't need to. So it's not the same. Although Adria played terribly, and she is lower than Natalie, 100%. She didn't take out someone who wasn't targeting her. Will was definitely targeting her. And even Marvin, although she shouldn't have put up both of them, Marvin also said he would put up the twins. So I don't think she made a bad decision by targeting these people. The way she did it was horrid. God damn. Nakomis. Ciao. Bye. Nakomis is not my favorite player. No shade. She, in my opinion, kind of like Karen, bitch, you don't have nobody for real. Like Will went home. Now she's here. Diane and Drew aren't loyal to Nakomis. Adria and Natalie don't care about Nakomis. Marvin doesn't care about Nakomis. She has Cowboy. I think Cowboy cares about her to the extent that she cares about him, which is not, he's not that reliable of an ally. She kind of is.
No, girl.
She's kind of.
That was one of the things I was saying with Drew earlier. Drew told Cowboy that Nakomis was upset that Cowboy didn't go up. That pissed Cowboy off. And he was saying that he would nominate and get Nakomis the fuck up out of here. So not barely even got Cowboy. She has Cowboy's back. Cowboy does not have her back at all.
And even that. So yeah, she doesn't have anyone. Like it's bad, honestly. So, and she's not an active player. She doesn't actively try to build things or make things or anything, and she never really has. You know, last week I said I wouldn't have even gave her the 6. I would have gave her the 4.5, but she had the backdoor plan, so I raised it up to the 6. So really, in my mind, she started this week at a 4.5. And it went down because Will went home, which was somebody who was going to be loyal to her over a lot of people. Karen isn't a reliable ally, and she's not in any structure with anybody. It's really, really bad for her. I know she wins the next HOH, but even then, it's like, what is your path to the end? She doesn't have one. Like, it's just bad. She's down there with Marvin and Karen. Like, you don't have shit going on for you. So I'm going to have to give her the 3. I feel like she's in a better position than them, but barely.
Yeah, Kaya Comis, it's not looking good for her. I'll give her I'll give it a 4 overall because unlike I feel like Karen and Marvin, people like them, she hasn't done anything to be in this position. It's more so just in the position because she hasn't done much
anything.
strategy. She hasn't done anything negative to get people hating her, but she hasn't done much positive gameplay to get in any secure group. You know, she is kind of just floating like a dove in the wind, you know, and her whole motto is I'm gonna go after the bullies in the game and I'm gonna vote people out who's been mean and who don't deserve to be here. Very much that logic. And it's like, girl, I don't know. You know, I think she's gonna be here for a while. I think that's her path to the win. At this point, she has is she gonna be the only one who's won 2 HOHs?
Yeah.
And she has a veto.
Yeah. Yeah.
So other than Adria, she's the only comp beast in the house. Her end goal would be Adria, Natalie, Karen, and Marvin being more hated than her, which they are. Them all going home. She's in Final Four, which I know is exactly what happens. And at that point, win the fuck out, which she could have done. So I see a path to the end slightly. It's just it's not like a path that she's forging. It's more so a path that's just happening for her. So actually, because of everything I just said, all of these targets in front of her, I want to give a 4.5. But you know,
child,
it's not looking the best.
How you feeling about Drew, girl?
Drew, I already mentioned earlier, I really enjoy what Drew is doing. Like, I feel like at this point in the game, he is kind of gathering some sense of agency only because Diane is a loyal soldier for him, and so is Cowboy. He has the twins who are backing him if they were able to get power somehow. He doesn't have a relationship with Marvin, but Marvin does not talk about going after Drew at all. He doesn't say anything negative about Drew. He doesn't mention nominating Drew, anything like that. And then you also have Karen, who is 2 in her own world and angry at the twins and not even worried about you. So like once again, he is sitting, I feel like, in the best position of the game. And I just really love some of the interworkings that he's doing within the game to keep people kind of on his side. I just feel like he's a player at this point that doesn't really need this circle of people around him for him to be in a great position. Everyone likes him. Everyone doesn't seem to be bothered or too consumed with what he's doing in the game. Even with the whole Drew and Diane duo, people are still more worried about Diane than Drew. And I feel like because Drew is so liked, they're not really seen as this overpowering entity that needs to go home. It's kind of interesting how he's able to play it up. So I'm going to give him the 8. Honestly, I think that
that's right.
He's a really good player. Like, I did not feel like I would come into this season and see him as a worthy winner, but he's really good. Like, it's not, I feel like something that's like insane level. Like, of course, we're not talking Derek, Dan, those type of people, but it's a cute Hayden. Yeah. It's a cute Hayden. I feel like it's some good gameplay for this era of the show, for sure.
I agree. I do agree
to capitalize on this position that, in my opinion, I will still say was given to him because of natural attributes, but him being able to work within it is really impressive to me because I feel like a lot of people get this position and sit there and do nothing with it.
Yeah, I agree, honestly, with everything you said. Last week, the reason I was so concerned with him last week because he didn't have his own structure, and honestly, I do feel like this week he is building his own structure. He has brought Cowboy into this foursome with Adria Natalie and Diane. He has the control over the Diane situation because she's down bad. He has Cowboy, and he's building his own individual relationship with Adria and Natalie as well. They've now become the main targets, which is going to get him to a certain point where he kind of has even more control. He's making sure that he is still talking to Karen and Nakomis. He's in such a good position, and he's building it. And that's like my literal worry was your entire structure is gone. And now you're kind of relying. Last week he was relying on Diane's people, and now he's made them his people. He's made it to where he's relying on his own people. He still has Cowboy here. He still has Diane here. He's helped push for Will to go, which was perfect for his game. Will going is the most beneficial for Drew's game, 100%. Yep.
And Diane literally tried to get him to do Marvin going home. She tried to give him to do otherwise. He says, "Baby, I'm not doing that,"
and he shouldn't. So he ate this up, honestly. Flawless victory. I really enjoyed this week for him. It was really, really good. I'm gonna give him a 7.5.
Oh, you a hater, girl. Total Drama Series
7.5 a hater.
Is he like Cody good? I feel like I can make that comparison. I feel like I personally feel like a lot of people definitely give Cody his credit because of the unanimous win. He did it in an all-star season. But I do feel like Cody was able to learn a lot from his original gameplay and a legend like Derek, whereas Drew really doesn't have 21 season gameplay. He doesn't have a Drew or even a credible Dr. Will yet to really lean back on. So I feel like, I don't know. Like, I do feel like I can make that comparison as to what he's playing in this era of the game.
Yeah, he's very, very good. I feel like because I'm even thinking of the other winners we've had recently, like before Drew with Lisa and June and Will. Are those the only three? Will, June, Lisa, and June. Yeah. Drew, I think is very smart. I think that the reason his game is underappreciated, what is it called when people don't give it the credit that it deserves?
Underrated.
I think the reason it's underrated is because it's not innovative, for lack of better words. I don't know how to explain it. It's very replicable, and it also feels like it kind of feels like Jason played this game but lost. You know, it kind of just feels too common. You know, it doesn't feel like anything new or fresh or anything. So I can see why when you're thinking back and you're rating them, because I think we did our winners ranking and we put Will, June, and Lisa above him when we ranked all the winners. And I think it's because they all had something about their games that was innovative and fresh and kind of a big pivot they had to do or something extreme or something different. His game is truly like simple, like not simple in the sense that anyone can do this, but just simple in the sense that there's not much to it, but it's really effective and it's really positive. Like, it's a really good game, but it's just not much to it. It is like Cody. It really is kind of like Cody. Cody, in a way, kind of just sat there and was liked by everybody and then won. Like, for lack of better words, not to say he's not a good player, but Cody kind of was just enjoyed by everyone and maintained that enjoyment by everyone the entire time and made sure he made the subtle moves he needed to make while he made them. And that was the game. And this is what Drew's game is like. And I feel like it lacks that innovation or differentness to really make it seem like wow or pow or Pam. So he gets lost in the history, I do think. But this is a really good season. He's a really good game. Really good game. He hasn't went below us. He's been at a 7 the whole damn time. He's eating that up. But yes, Diane. Ciao.
Well, until you played his face last time
with 615, that was real. His whole alliance went home, girl. Shout out to Diane. Diane is eating this up. Was eating this up, and then she started eating herself. She's her own motherfucking worst enemy. It's so weird, and it's Diane is in a good position, and I think she's active, and she's one of the only people who's an active player, and that automatically puts her above the people she's in the season with. But you'll see what happens with her overall score, girl, because she's not a gag overall. She's not a great Big Brother player because of her gameplay. It's really a lot of other factors going into it because her gameplay really lacks a lot of the time. But this week, I think she's still in a great position. Well, she is still in a great position because even though she was crashing out with Adria Natalie by the end of the week, it in a way benefited her perception from Nakomis and Karen. Like, I feel like by the end of the week, it really, throughout the entire week, it really seems like Diane is just with Nakomis, Karen, and Will. And while they're exiting this week, it seems like it's Nakomis, Karen, and Diane is what it feels like. Like, they feel like she's with them. I do feel like she has this true connection to them because of how she's kind of played it. And a part of her did want to play the middle, and a part of her was confused. It was weird, but she helped with the nominees. She basically told her who to nominate, no shade. Will did go home, which I feel like does benefit Diane's position in the sense that she can pull Karen and Nakomis if she does do that. But her issue and her blind spot is Drew. And her having this, and her kookiness. She's very kooky and cracked. And she's in love with Drew to where she's still telling him every damn day that she wants to take him to the end and him beat her. It's getting crazy. And that's really throwing me off about her. She played good. It's just, I don't think she can consistently keep the good gameplay. I really don't. So I'm going to have to bring her to the 6.5. Honestly, they flipping their scores that I had them at last week.
Yeah. I just noticed that it's not updated. It don't say week 6. It say week 5, child.
This is week 6, baby.
Yeah.
What you think about Diane?
That had threw me the fuck off. I was like, hold on, let me say something. Because I was going to leave it alone, but then I got real anal about it in my head. It's like an itch I need to scratch. But anyways, Diane, I feel like I agree with a lot that you said. And I think my issues with the positive in her game is that when you start the week doing something so positive, like playing both sides actively and pushing a target that you want that eventually went home. She wanted Will or Karen. I feel like she would have preferred someone like Karen, but she was still open to someone like Will going. And when the options were laid on the table, she initially wanted Will to go because she knew he was smarter. And then as the weeks went along, it's as if Will's empathy, Will's sadness, and Will's frustration convinced her that, Adria Natalie in the wrong and this shouldn't be happening and they're making the wrong decision, to the point where she tried to convince Drew multiple times to keep Will in the game, to which Drew said he's not going to do and did not do, which led to this tie vote, to which Will ended up going home. It's like, I feel like I can't credit her on the good things she's doing, because at the end of the week, she doesn't even stand by any of those things anymore. So it's like, were you really doing those things? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know that that's why you push those things? Clearly you don't, if you're not standing on it by the end of the week. And that's something that I really appreciate from Drew. He's consistent, at least in his line of thinking. On the Holly week, there were a lot of conversations we witnessed where it was kind of conflicting, but the entire time he wanted Holly gone, Holly went home. This entire time, no matter how different the conversations were, he wanted Will out, Will went home. And not the fact that he's pushing these people to go home or like necessarily making these people go home, but these are the things that he's wanting, and he is contributing into making sure that it does kind of happen. So with Diane, I feel like I just don't like that she did a full 180 on everything that she pushed earlier in the week. Like, girl, you were down on this plan for half of last week and now this week. So what the fuck happened? I agree with the 6.5. It's just, I don't like the inconsistency. So, I think she's in a great position, and I will say that she worked to get into this position. Her HOH really catapulted her here. But like you said, with the blind spot, with the kookiness, to me, with the back and forth and the wishy-washiness, I just don't feel confident in her as a overall player.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted that. I can't wait to rate these people overall. I think compared to the other seasons, it's not going to be a lot of high scores, honey. Like, I genuinely think Will is going to be top 3, and look where we got him at. No shade. Like, it's crazy. Like, I think this is going to be very interesting when we compare it to the other ones. All right, put them in order. Adria is at the bottom of the motherfucking ranks, girl. God damn it.
Act the fool.
Right above her is Marvin, looking a fool. Right above him is Karen, looking a fool. Right above her is Natalie. Natalie being 3 spaces above Adria. I know that's right, queen.
I know that's right, bitch. You're not down there with her like that for real. Because truly, Natalie, if she wasn't her twin, I think Natalie would not be in this position at all. Like, you could tell this a lot of this week, it was Natalie going with Adria's bad decisions, because bitch, that's my sister. I'm not about to let her look stupid or let her look stupid alone.
Yeah.
I'll look dumb as hell right with
sadly. Nakomis is the 4th highest rated person, and her average is a 3.75. And I mean, it could have been a 4. Even a 4 is embarrassing. Why is she top 4 and her average of 4? Why is Cowboy top 3 and his average of 4? Now, I will say, like last season, I don't think the 3rd place person was that high either at this moment. I don't know. But I know, like, maybe Allison and June, maybe, because even they've had low weeks as well. They actually had really low weeks as well. They probably was fucking 2s at this point.
What week?
So maybe not 4.
But yeah, Allison and June had some bad weeks. This is week 6.
Yeah, they had some bad weeks. This is week 6. But even BB, I will say BB3, if we're talking about which season had the highest caliber of player, I would say BB3 had some good players. Like, I think they had some good ratings at this moment. Marcellus and Danielle and Roddy.
So at this point in week 6, it was top 6 in BB 4. And Alice, June had the number 1 spot with an 8. We both gave her an 8. And then Allison, you gave a 6.5. I got a 5.5. So she averaged at 6. And then G had a 4.75. Erica had a 4.25. And then Jack and Robert were at the bottom with 3s and 2s.
Okay, yeah, it was still the same. Yeah, because BB4, I'm not gonna lie, BB4, it didn't have a lot of good players either. It kind of just had Allison and June. BB3 is where I feel like had a lot of good players.
Oh yeah, look, BB3 week 6, it was top 7. Lisa had an 8. Marcellus had a 7. Danielle had a 6.75. Jason had a 6. Even Amy had a 6. Roddy had a 3. Then Jerry had Roddy had a 4. Jerry had a 2.75.
Yeah, BB3, y'all. If you're talking about gameplay of these early seasons, definitely BB3. And honestly, Lee, I think BB2 had better players than 4 and 5 as well. I would say BB2 had a lot of good players. Oh, go ahead.
In BB2, week 6 of BB2, it was top 3, 4, 5.
I know that's right.
Nicole had an 8.75. Will had a 6.75. Ooh, almost. I think overall, yes. But at this point, Hardy had a 3.75, Bunky had a 2.75, and Monica had a 1.75.
Yeah, it being top 5 is kind of crazy. Like the other seasons, they weren't that deep in the game, so I feel like it's kind of a iffy comparison. But yeah, overall, I think they'll be higher. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, girl, Diane and Drew top 2 still, girl. Not top 2 and not number 2. Somebody in the chat said not Cowboy number 3. Honestly, Cowboy has been up there for a minute. This is a big 3.
Yeah, only thing that brought Cowboy down was the Jason Scott, the Horseman shutting down, but now he don't even need the Horseman.
Yeah. Oh, this is the final 4. The top 4 on our rankings are the final 4 of the game.
And it's probably going to stay that way because I can't see the twins, Karen or Marvin, making anything shake past this.
I agree. Well, y'all, there's that on that.
I know that's right. We're at the end. I had texted this earlier to Pharaoh. I mean, Drew gonna stay liked. Diane gonna stay in love with Drew. Cowboy gonna stay following Drew. Nakomis gonna stay in the Peace Corps. Natalie and Adria gonna stay targets. Karen gonna stay crazy, and Marvin gonna stay black. And, and that's it.
Very much so that. If you want to get into the rewind, baby, next week we will be covering week 7 on Tuesday, episodes 20, 21, and 22, and week 8 on Thursday, episodes 23, 24, and 25, baby. So get into
We're rounding down, bitch. It's almost over.
It's almost over. It's only 2 more weeks. All of next week and all of the week after that. And then the week after that is Big Brother. So, baby, we're chugging up along, honey. Also, get into the other shit. Of course, every single Monday we've been doing our Big Brother off-season content. If you haven't seen us cast the new era Big Brother All-Stars, go check that video out, baby. Also, check out our ranking of all of the new era players as well. Of course, every Wednesday and every Sunday, we are live talking Love Island. And, baby, Love Island is that girl. So keep your eyes peeled because we might be going live other than that. Also, on Saturday, of course, we're still doing Drag Race. Damn, what a snore. No shade. So get into the Drag Race coverage as well. And then, of course, Reality Rewind. Make sure you send in your votes for one of these 10 shows, baby. You know the shows by now. And if you don't, go watch another episode because maybe we said them. Also, make sure you get into our Scripted Kingdom shit. Well, my Scripted Kingdom content. I will be posting my review and reaction to Brokeback Mountain and my review to LEO coming up very, very soon. So make sure you get into that or whatever. The link is in the description. And thank you guys for keeping it real with the kingdom, baby. We're out.